Hey guys, Matty here. As I've got the big backpack on today, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about why I sort of quit doing the more traditional backpacking style and backpacking gear loadouts, or what I kind of call the ultra heavy backpacking now, and why I specifically transitioned into a more ultralight and lightweight backpacking gear setup. For years and years, the big thing for me was big backpacks, carry everything that you think you're going to need for a comfortable weekend or a comfortable 5 to 6 day backpacking trip. And that worked for me for a long time. And eventually I got to the point where my body just was not agreeing with me with the amount of stuff that I was carrying. This is my beloved 80-liter Arc'teryx Bora pack, a bomb-proof pack that will probably survive tumbling down a mountain and anything and everything you can throw at it, but you pay a pretty hefty weight penalty. I do believe my 80-liter Arc'teryx pack is about 6.5, 7 pounds. But we're going to ditch the pack now because I really wanted to talk about why I specifically got away from sort of the ultra-heavy backpacking. Now, when I was carrying these Arc'teryx packs, with their insane load carrying capabilities, my base weight at the time was about 35 to 40 pounds, and that's for a single night backpacking trip. And I would literally carry everything with me that I thought I would need or want to just be comfortable out there on trail. I was taking this little trifold stool that was like 2.5 pounds. You'd fold it out and plop it down and sit your butt down on that. I would carry a 2-liter pot. I actually have it sitting on the shelf here behind me. This is my MSR 2-liter stainless steel pot. I was going overkill. I was just simply carrying far too much stuff. The stuff that I was carrying was big, it was bulky, a lot of it was really heavy. Stainless steel is not very light compared to titanium. It's insanely heavy. And as I mentioned near the start of this video, over time my body just stopped responding well to carrying a heavy backpacking gear load like that. And I'm sure somebody in the comment section is just going to sit there and tell me, oh, you just need to hit the gym. You just need to work out. You just got to pump the iron and build your body up. You don't need to get lighter backpacking gear. You just need to get more in shape and get more fit. I am actually in very good shape. But over the years, I've had a couple pretty significant injuries to my knees and my hips and my back, from snowboarding and hockey and soccer and a car accident I was in. I just started to notice over time that my body wasn't recovering as quickly after a long backpacking trip, and I was even finding myself being in a lot of discomfort on backpacking trips. The straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was a 9-day North Boundary Trail backpacking trip in Jasper National Park. I started out that backpacking trip with my backpack being about 55 pounds at the time, and just hauling that much weight that long, and I was feeling it. I was in discomfort enough that I had a difficult time falling asleep at night. I was downing Advil like crazy. I was, smoking my green stuff to try and, keep the pain levels down. And I made the decision after about day 3 of that backpacking trip that it was time to just firstly start carrying less stuff. On that trip specifically, I brought a full-size tablet with me to, just enjoy watching a movie at night. And I honestly hardly used it. I think I used it for maybe 2 nights, and it just was dead extra weight in my backpack. I was carrying a full tang knife on that backpacking trip, and the only time I ever used a knife is to, cut a little bit of cordage or cut a plastic wrapper open. Now, as I mentioned, carrying a tablet on that trip and saying I didn't actually use it, what I ended up using that tablet for on that backpacking trip was actually to make up a list of all the gear that I carried that I wasn't using and that I wasn't really going to carry anymore, or I was going to find smaller, lighter alternatives for. And that started pretty much the second that I got home. I changed up my entire sleep system, which is reasoning all into itself. I just wasn't sleeping all that great on the ground, and a friend had brought a hammock, and I decided to make the transition to hammock camping. And just going to a hammock over a tent setup for the tent that I was carrying and the sleeping pad and stuff I was carrying and a sleeping bag, going to a hammock and quilts, that lightened up my backpacking gear loadout, and it took up less bulk in my backpack. So it enabled me to carry a smaller backpack. I was able to carry a lighter backpack because I didn't necessarily need to carry the same load. So I didn't need the same load carrying capabilities. And I found for myself the next summer The backpacking trips were so much more enjoyable. That sort of spiraled me into this gram weenie thing and, counting ounces and trimming straps off of things and cutting my toothbrush down. Overall, on a backpacking trip, the majority of my time is spent hiking. So what could I do to make the hike itself more enjoyable? Because there's a lot of things that I was carrying for myself to have luxuries at camp that I just simply wasn't using, but they were there for, that time I might want this. Like I was carrying packs of cards, and I was carrying one of those little foldable checker sets with chess pieces and stuff in it that never got used, and it probably added a couple extra pounds to my gear, and it was just there if I ever wanted it, and I never used it, and I've never carried it since, and I've never had the desire to use it. Like I said, I wanted to prioritize having a more enjoyable time when I'm out there hiking, and it's not really limited my comfort when I'm in camp. I just found ways to take the gear I was carrying and, like I preach in a lot of my videos, making things multi-purpose and finding different ways to use a certain piece of gear. Those little things that I've done have really added up, and it's got me to the point where I would say right now, where I'm at with my backpacking gear loadout and my backpacking experiences, I am far more comfortable than I ever was when I was literally carrying everything with me. So I guess the whole point of this video was to hopefully help somebody else out that's sitting there, and maybe you've seen one of my videos, maybe you've never seen any of my videos, and you're carrying a heavier backpacking gear loadout, and you're really, really worried that if you start doing this ultralight thing and you think ultralight's just a fad, and you're worried about being uncomfortable on trail and not having the comforts that you want with you when you're out there on trail, and it's going to make your backpacking trips miserable. Get from a guy who went through that experience and went through those trials and tribulations and has found the exact opposite. Because once you start going more lightweight with the essential important pieces of gear, like a lighter sleeping pad, a lighter tent, maybe a trekking pole tent, or moving into a lightweight hammock setup, going with a top quilt over a sleeping bag, just making a lot of those transitions will cut down pounds. And when you start shaving out pounds there, it's a lot easier to justify, carrying your Helinox chair if you want to carry a chair with you, or, carrying your deck of cards and your chess set or whatever it is you want to carry for entertainment in camp, or maybe, bring yourself that extra bottle of wine if you're somebody who enjoys wine in the evenings. There's a lot of reasons why anybody starts doing ultralight backpacking or lightening up their backpacking gear loadout. And for me, the reason was, I really was tired of being uncomfortable and hating life while I'm out there on a backpacking trip and looking forward to getting to camp so I can get all that weight off my back. Whereas now I really look forward to the days on trail and just enjoying the hike while I'm out there. And that's sort of why it worked out for me, and maybe that'll help change things for you as well. So like I said, if you're somebody who's in that same boat and you're looking to lighten up your load, but you're a little worried and a little nervous about it, just give it a try. The worst thing that can happen is you hate it and you just go back to carrying a lot of really heavy stuff. Now, if you are somebody who's looking at lightening up your backpacking gear loadout and you're looking for, specific ways to lighten up some of your gear and just make life a little bit more comfortable for yourself out there on trail, like I had talking about this entire video, I've got a playlist of weight-saving backpacking tips, and I'll fire that right here for you. So when you're done with this video, find a video in that playlist, check that out. And as always, guys, I'm Matty. Thank you so dang much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.